Morgan, immigration raids are taking place in Louisiana and Minnesota today. The Department of Homeland Security says it is targeting, quote, criminal illegal aliens in New Orleans. In the Twin Cities, senior law enforcement officials confirmed ICE agents are on the ground for an apparent large-scale operation that may include the arrest of some Somalis who are allegedly in violation of the law. Now, the raids come after President Trump blasted Somalians in that state during a cabinet meeting yesterday. Take a listen.
I want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Somebody say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country.
NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley joins us now. Julia, tell us about these latest ICE operations and why the administration chose to send agents to the Twin Cities to focus on the Somali community.
Well, Vicki, you just showed there how President Trump has been focused on Minneapolis and in particular the Somali community. Now, Minneapolis and St. Paul, the Twin City area, has the largest population of Somalis living inside the United States. Many of them are naturalized U.S. citizens, but ICE says that some of them are in violation of immigration law. And so when they conduct this operation there, they may be picking up more people who are Somali than not when they conduct this raid. That is already happening. It began this morning. We're waiting to get more details on who they arrest and the numbers, and we'll be reporting those soon. But of course, this follows those remarks from President Trump and from Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, because they have been accusing the Somali community in Minneapolis of fraud. There was an investigation from DHS that looked into whether or not Somalis in Minneapolis had been accused of Medicare fraud, of SNAP fraud, and other benefit fraud, and they said that about half of those had committed fraud while on visas inside the United States. So this is where that began, and of course now it's ending with this operation in Minneapolis, but a senior law enforcement official says that Somalis are not the only ones who will be targeted in this operation.
Julia, what do we know about the operation that's happening right now in New Orleans?
Well, this is being done by a different agency. This is Border Patrol, which, of course, typically is in charge of enforcing the borders of the United States. But 1,500 of those have been pulled inside to do operations that we've seen in places like Los Angeles, Chicago, most recently Charlotte. Now they're going to New Orleans. There are about 250 Border Patrol agents who just today began operations in that city. What's different about this operation, though, Vicki, is it's not as widespread as we saw in those previous cities. They're specifically targeting immigrants who were arrested, held in jail locally inside New Orleans, and then were released. This is in violation of what ICE would like to see local police departments do. They want those people, if they're undocumented immigrants, to be handed over to ICE after they've served their time. But because New Orleans is a sanctuary city, they're being released without ICE being notified. And so those are the people we understand Border Patrol will be targeting in this operation, and we'll stay tuned to see if they go beyond that scope. But for now, that's their focus.
Julia Ainsley, we really appreciate your comprehensive reporting today. Thank you.
We thank you for
Starting to get some video in of multiple immigration raids happening across Southeast Louisiana today. Some of them are coming from viewers. Some of them are coming from local advocacy groups. This came from Union Migrante. This was a home on Marquette Drive at East Louisiana State Drive in Kenner. Union Migrante said there was some roof work being done here, and immigration officials showed up. One of them, you can see, had a rifle with a scope on it. They say 2 people were taken into custody, and the homeowner was not there at the time that this all happened. This video is from the Lowe's on Elysian Fields. This is a nearly 30-minute long video. You can see some federal vehicles in the parking lot of the Lowe's, and a witness tells us at least a dozen people, possibly 15 people, were taken into custody, detained by immigration officials here, and those cars hung out for quite a while. We're also told that the people who were detained had to leave their trucks, their bikes, their tools behind, and a neighborhood group was working to get those things back to their families after they were taken by federal agents. We also have some video of a man being detained at the Home Depot in Laplace. Now, his wife told CNN that he was stopped and asked about his immigration status. He is a legal permanent resident, but was originally born in Mexico. He told agents that he was a legal resident, and after putting him in cuffs, they did release him. And then he later saw them taking someone else into custody. We don't know what happened in that instance. We've also heard about some enforcement operations happening in the river parishes, at an elementary school in Kenner, and at the Home Depot in Gretna. Plus, we're hearing about some on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, including in Biloxi, Pass Christian, and other places right there along the coast. So we're working to confirm those details and where exactly those agents were spotted. We're starting to
Federal agents are now headed to the Crescent City to take the worst illegal aliens out of New Orleans. On Wednesday, DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin said the operation, called Catahoula Crunch, targets include violent criminals who were released after arrest for home invasion, armed robbery, grand theft auto, and rape. Under President Trump and Secretary Noem, we are restoring law and order for the American people. Accompanying the announcement was a list of 10 illegal migrants who were released from jails after being arrested on charges such as aggravated assault, burglary, child endangerment, and sexual battery. The Louisiana State Police and the New Orleans FBI field office announced they'll be working together during the operation to prevent assaults on federal officers and to stop attempts to interfere with law enforcement activities, as we've seen in other cities. A 2025 profile of immigrants in the New Orleans metro area estimates that about 52,000 non-citizens live in the region. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry, who earlier this year requested up to 1,000 National Guard troops to help address crime, told reporters Monday that he expects Guard members to arrive in New Orleans by Christmas. This comes after 2 National Guard members, Andrew Wolf and Sarah Beckstrom, were shot in Washington, D.C. on November 26th by an Afghan national. Beckstrom was killed and Wolf remains in critical condition. In response, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announced that an additional 500 National Guard troops will be sent to the capital.